Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make your own realistic trees for dioramas. And what we need here is some kind of a modeling clay. Super Sculpty, I like Super Sculpty Firm or Procreate or Green Stuff. Some house wire, some copper wire, that's 14 gauge wire. Various tools to cut and work the wire with. Some kind of a vise to hold your wire tight. Paintbrush, some sculpting tools, and some foliage material so you can apply the leaves to the trees. So let me show you what we're going to do here. Okay, you get yourself cut yourself off 6 pieces of wire about 10 to 12 inches long, and then twist them all together, except for one in the middle. Don't twist that one, leave that one straight, and leave it longer than the rest of them, because that's going to be how you attach the tree to the base, to your terrain or your diorama base. So here we go. So see, now I've got my tree trunk there, how it attaches to the terrain, so about that long. So you take that and mount it in your vise this way. So now you can see the tree starting to take shape there. Now you can bend these out into various branches of your tree. Okay, put it in your vise, and I've got a little figure here for scale so you can get an idea of how big you want to make it. And now you can apply your clay to it, either your 2-part epoxy clay or some kind of a hardening clay, something that will harden. Start applying that, and then you can sculpt it into the shape of a tree trunk. And you'll only be doing the trunk. You won't be doing all of this. We'll apply foliage to that, so this is all pretty much hidden. Okay, once you've applied your clay to your base, to your the trunk of your tree, then you can start to sculpt it using your sculpting tools. And you can put bark effects on there with the tip of your sculpting tool like this. That's going to look terrific when it's done. Using the tip here, and you can put maybe a stump. You can sculpt that into a stump, kind of say it was a limb that broke off. So just start sculpting that, and remember, tree isn't perfectly tree isn't like a Roman column. It's very it's a living thing, so it kind of grows in a offbeat fashion with some curves and some different parts. And you might want to accentuate the way the trunk breaks off into different sections here. Sort of like the way the branches go in different directions, so the roots do that too. So if you want to get really good looking trees, what you should do is actually look at trees. So get yourself some pictures, or go outside and look at a bunch of trees and get a feel for what trees, the shape of trees. So I'm going ahead. This isn't going to take long. I'm almost actually done. I want to keep it nice and rough. So you sculpt it. Use different techniques for bark. Use the tip of a pick tool like that. Get some nice texture on there, and then let it set the way it's supposed to be set. For instance, Super Sculpty Firm, you want to bake it in the oven. If you're using Procreate or Green Stuff, you let it harden, and then once that's done, you can touch it up a little bit and paint it. Okay, I finished sculpting the trunk there. It looks terrific, and now I'm going to harden it, and then I'll paint it. And I've used my typical miniature painting techniques, did some dry brushing, and I'm also doing some washing, and experiment with colors a little bit. Use different shades of brown, a little bit of green, maybe a little bit of white, some black, and get that in there, and this is just about done, so that looks terrific. Now, I recommend too that you paint the wires here brown or green, so they won't show so much when you apply the foliage. Alright, I'm looking at this through the magnifying lens, so that might be a little distorted, but you should get a good idea there what it looks like. Came out terrific. It looks. And you may also want to apply little bits of terrain texture to it to give it a little extra something. See the little clumps there I put at the bottom there of green material? That looks really good. They come out really good. Okay, now add the foliage to your tree. Once that's dry, add the foliage to the tree. There's several different ways you can do that, and you have to take your time with this kind of a tree. This is a really good looking tree. You got to take your time and apply the foliage. You can use super glue. You can use contact cement, or you can use hobby tack, which is the best. Hobby tack, I recommend hobby tack because it's very tacky and it's non-toxic. So you might want to get some hobby tack. It really comes in handy for a lot of things. The thing about hobby tack is you apply it and then you let it sit for a good 15 minutes till it gets really, really tacky, and then you can apply your foliage to it. So glue everything up and then start applying the different bunches to it. And normally with a tree I would use the dip it in the bag method, but not for this kind of a tree. I'm going to build this all by hand because it's going to be a really good looking tree. So I'll show it to you when it's done. And there you have it, the finished tree. Looks pretty good.